All right, so ever read this guy, Isaac Newton?
Yeah.
Yeah, the gravity guy. Turns out he wasn't just messing with apples and stuff. He was really into this whole alchemy thing,
Oh, yeah, alchemy.
trying to make gold from lead, the usual. And it wasn't just him. Like kings and queens were obsessed with it, immortality, elixirs, all that. Alchemy's always been this wild mix of like science and magic, right?
Absolutely. Obsessed is a good word for it.
But here's the thing. What if instead of just rumors and legends, we actually had someone saying, nope, I did it. I cracked the code. Philosopher's Stone, got one. That's what's so crazy about this Cyliani guy we're diving into.
It's true. His story is different, not your typical alchemist hiding in the shadows. Cyliani came from a good family, educated, pretty normal life by all accounts.
Yeah, and he talks about that in his writings, like comfy upbringing, like art and science, the whole bit. Wasn't some weirdo in a cave, which makes it even stranger that he went all in on this alchemy stuff.
Exactly. It wasn't like he was desperate or anything. He had a good thing going.
So what was it then? Some kind of deep need, you think?
He talks about this idea that real happiness, it comes from knowledge, using it to improve yourself, the world, that kind of thing. So the Philosopher's Stone, with all that power, that potential, maybe it was his way to make that happen.
It's like chasing a dream, but this dream could turn into solid gold. Literally. But let's be real. It wasn't all sunshine and rainbows for our boy Cyliani.
Yeah.
Decades of his life, gone. Money problems, family drama. Even his friends were like, dude, seriously.
It definitely took its toll on him, that's for sure.
Talk about dedication, right?
Totally. But there's a point in his story. Things get really interesting. Picture this. Cyliani, he's at his lowest point, seeks out this big old oak tree, looking for some peace, maybe some answers, and bam! Hidden manuscript.
No way, like tucked away in the tree. Secret alchemist's hideout.
Not quite in the tree itself, but behind a cabinet. Close enough. He finds this manuscript.
And this is important because
This becomes his obsession, his guide to the Philosopher's Stone. Like he'd been lost, and suddenly, there's the map.
And we're not talking about some random cookbook here, right? This was like the book.
Oh, absolutely. Alchemists, they were all about secrets, hidden meanings, passing down knowledge through whispers and codes.
Makes sense. You don't want just anyone making the Philosopher's Stone, right? Too much power.
Exactly. It adds to the mystery, makes it even more appealing.
Like finding a puzzle box inside another puzzle box. Every time you think you've got it figured out, there's another layer. But did this book actually help him? Like, were there real steps to follow, or was it just more riddles? I bet finding this manuscript was like, boom, all the answers he'd been searching for, right? But did it actually lay everything out? The how-to guide to the Philosopher's Stone? Or what?
Well, it's not that simple. Remember, these alchemists weren't just messing around in labs. It was deeper than that. They were into spirituality, enlightenment, all that. And Cyliani's story, it takes a really wild turn here.
Oh, here we go. I knew it.
So picture this. Cyliani's got the manuscript, right? But he's still got doubts, anxieties, the whole shebang. He goes back to that oak tree, like it's his thinking spot.
Makes sense. Got a good vibes there, right?
Exactly. So he's there, and get this, he encounters a nymph.
Wait. Oh, what? Like a mythical creature. Hold up.
Straight out of Greek mythology, this nymph, she appears to him.
No way. He actually wrote that. He met a magical being. Come on.
He describes her in detail, what she said, everything. It's like he's trying to convince himself it was real, you know?
I mean, maybe he was just seeing things, right? Years of alchemy probably messed with his head a little.
Could be. Or maybe it was a vision, some kind of deep subconscious thing. Who knows? But the point is, this encounter, it changes everything.
Okay, so we've gone from alchemy to Greek myths now. Where does this nymph come in?
She lays some serious knowledge on him. Cosmic secrets, the creation of planets, even hints at this whole hierarchy running the universe.
Whoa, hold the phone. That's a lot to process.
Right. It's like Alchemy 101, but taught by a being of pure starlight.
I'd be freaking out. Did he question any of this, or was he just like, yep, sounds about right?
Good question. But remember, this is Cyliani. He spent years studying this stuff. Maybe this encounter was like the missing piece, you know?
Yeah, the confirmation he needed. But this nymph, she wasn't just there to chat, was she?
Nope. She gives him tasks, trials he has to overcome, classic hero's journey stuff.
I knew there had to be a catch. So what, did he have to fight a dragon, steal a magic sword?
She talks about slaying a dragon, which is a big symbol in alchemy, represents base matter, primal forces that need to be controlled. She gives him riddles, too, cryptic instructions.
Classic. So not only does he have to figure out the answers, he has to prove he's worthy of them.
Exactly. It's like an initiation. But what about the Philosopher's Stone? Does she give him the recipe?
Yeah, that's what I want to know. Did he get the secret formula?
He says she guided him, told him about creating two important substances, the azoth, which is like philosophical mercury.
Philosophical mercury.
Sounds dangerous.
Not your typical mercury. It's more like, imagine a universal solvent, the building block of all matter. Alchemists believed it held the key to transmutation.
So you dissolve metals in this azoth, then what?
Then comes the philosophical sulfur. Not regular sulfur either. It represents this active, fiery principle, the force of transformation.
Okay, so not just something you find lying around.
Exactly. It has to be prepared through a whole process. Once he's got both, the azoth and the philosophical sulfur, then he can begin the conjunction where he combines them.
Conjunction, huh? Sounds intense. So this is where the magic happens. You got it. The conjunction isn't a single step either. It's this multi-stage thing, each stage connected to a planet.
Whoa, planets. Getting really cosmic here.
Cyliani describes it like a dance, balancing opposites, heat and cold, light and dark. It shows how important astrology and cosmology were to their whole worldview.
Like, less of a science experiment, more like a ritual, almost. Makes you think. Even if he didn't make the Philosopher's Stone, this whole process, it must have changed him, don't you think? So after all that, the nymph, the azoth, this whole conjunction thing, did Cyliani actually do it? Did he make the Philosopher's Stone?
That's what he claimed, yeah. Followed those instructions step by step, and boom, Philosopher's Stone.
You'd think he'd be over the moon, right?
Yeah.
After all that struggle, the sacrifices, to finally get what he wanted.
You'd think so, but his reaction is really interesting.
What? Was he disappointed? Did it not work like he thought it would?
No, not that. He describes it more like awe, I guess. Like he'd stumbled onto something sacred way bigger than himself. He even mentions a laurel branch appearing, almost like a crown.
Hold on, a laurel branch? That's kind of random. Isn't that more of a Greek thing, like for athletes and stuff? I thought the Philosopher's Stone was all about gold and, living forever.
Exactly. And that detail makes you think, maybe for Cyliani, it wasn't just about the material stuff. Maybe it was about a personal transformation, something spiritual even.
Right, like the real alchemy was happening inside him all along.
That's a good way to put it. But here's the thing. If he really changed, if he found this higher truth, wouldn't he want to share it? Spread the word, help others achieve the same thing.
Yeah, pay it forward, right? That's usually how these stories go.
But that's not what Cyliani does. He actually warns people, tells them not to follow in his footsteps.
Seriously. After all that, he's telling people to stay away from alchemy. Why would he do that?
It's pretty wild, right? Maybe it's because of what he went through, the sacrifices, the toll it took on his life, his relationships. Maybe he realized it wasn't worth it for everyone.
Or maybe he realized that some things, some knowledge, it's too dangerous to share.
That's a possibility too. Or maybe, just maybe, the real treasure wasn't the Philosopher's Stone itself, but the journey he took to get there.
It's like they say, it's about the journey, not the destination.
Exactly. Cyliani's story, it makes you think about the nature of truth, of knowledge, of how far we're willing to go to find answers.
For sure. Was he a genius, a madman, or maybe a little of both? I guess that's for us to decide.
That's the beauty of it, right? We get to look at the evidence, weigh the possibilities, and come to our own conclusions. Is what makes these deep dives so fascinating.
Absolutely. So what do you think? Was Cyliani onto something real, or was he chasing shadows? Let us know what you think, and until next time, keep exploring those mysteries.